Yo, what's up guys? My name is Giovanni Martinez. I've been a Forex trader for almost 5 years, and today I'll be going over everything you need to know about Forex automated trading. You can be a complete beginner or an experienced trader and learn exactly how automated trading works. I will have some text on the screen for you guys to take notes on, but also pay close attention because I will say important things that you may need to write down. I have created a full PDF course for you guys to download for free. I cover a lot more stuff in depth that I don't inside of this video. So to get the full experience and the full course, make sure you download this. It'll be in the comments and also in the description. So chapter 1 is understanding Forex. I know many of you that have clicked on this video, you probably already have a general understanding of Forex. You probably know what it is, but we do need to go over it just to ensure that we're all on the same page, and it's going to be very quick and brief. So Forex is short for foreign exchange. It refers to the global market where currencies are traded. It's the largest and most liquid financial market in the world, with trillions of dollars traded every single day. In the Forex market, currencies are bought and sold against each other. I'll give you guys an example. So in different parts of the world, there are different currencies, and those currencies each have their own unique different values depending on how an economy is doing in certain country. For example, in Mexico, they use the Mexican peso, and Japan, they use the Japanese yen, in Europe, the euro, and the US dollar. The primary goal of Forex trading is to profit from these changes in currency exchange rates. For example, if one currency is doing better than another currency, the market's going to move in a said direction, and that direction we are trying to, I wouldn't say predict, but read the markets and kind of get into the same direction that the market is going to move, and that's where we're going to make our profits. To give you guys an example, if you believe the value of the euro will rise against the US dollar, you might buy the euro USD pair, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. You're gonna have two currencies and they make up a pair. For example, we're gonna have euro with the abbreviation being EUR, and then what separates these two currencies is going to be a slash, and then we're going to have USD. So that there is what a currency pair looks like. Now Forex is done over the counter. This is what we call OTC. So maybe in your Forex trading journey, you'll see the abbreviation OTC. That stands for over the counter, meaning there's no central exchange and it's accessible 24 hours a day. Now this is a bit different than the futures market. In the futures market, you do have a central exchange where all of the brokers are getting their same data from. In Forex, that is a bit different. Now let's talk about the different traders that are inside of this market alongside with us. So first we have the banks, which are, one of the biggest players. These players have the ability to move the market with simple injections. For example, if, the major banks are buying a certain currency, then that will have a big effect on the market compared to me and you as a retail trader, which I'll write that down next. So if me and you were to buy or sell any given market, for an example, euro USD, which we just talked about, nothing really happens in the market. Why? Because we don't have enough capital to be able to move the market compared to something like a bank or a financial institution where they're injecting millions, maybe billions of dollars, and that will cause the market to move in either direction. Another player that I just mentioned that we have in the markets is financial institutions. So financial institutions basically go one-on-one with the banks. Like I said, they basically go one-on-one with the banks where they have all of this capital and they're investing it into different currencies, different pairs, and causing the market to move in either direction. So these are the bigger players, and when you're coming into the Forex market, you have to understand your competition. This is just like in any sport. For example, I do boxing. If I'm going to go box, I need to understand my opponent. I want to understand, what kind of impact they can cause to the situation. Same thing with trading. So with financial institutions, we want to understand they are the ones that really move the market. Now the next two I want to talk about are government and corporations. They're players in our market. Governments are always invested into different assets. I'll give you an example. At this current time, we have the US government that's selling off their Bitcoin. We recently just had a stock drop, a really big stock drop, and that's everybody being scared of a recession, so they're selling out of their stocks. The cool thing about Forex is even when the markets are dropping, you can also make money. Understanding these players, understanding their effects, and really anything they do in the markets is going to affect us as retail traders, but whatever we do won't really affect the financial institutions. Now you might say, Gio, there's a lot of traders that are considered to be retail traders. Don't we make up some kind of volume? And yes, we do. Retail traders essentially present what's called liquidity being money that's in the market for the bigger guys to take. So to these bigger institutions, us retail traders, we are basically free money for them, food for them. I'll give you an example. Okay, let's say we have a market like this. We notice a certain pattern here. I'm going to change over to the color blue and I'm going to draw out what's called a trend line. So a trend line being a line where two or more points connect. And what this means is that for a retail trader, we'll look at this trend line and we'll wait for the market to come back into our line. We're waiting for it to touch. After it touches, then a retail trader is going to look to buy. Now, these other players in the market, the bigger corporations, they understand that. They understand that once we get to that point, retail traders are looking to buy for this specific move and looking to catch profits off of that buy. Now, the financial institutions, they also realize that if all the retail traders are in buys at that point, that means that if the market were to somehow drop below that point and go down, all of the retail traders lose their money and the bigger players in the market are able to make that money because all they have to do is just counter that and sell. And again, like I told you guys prior, if they're selling a certain pair, that pair is going to go down. If we're selling a certain pair, that's going to have no effect on the market. So chapter 2 is going to be the basics of algorithmic trading. Algorithmic can also be shortened to algo. That's what I'll be saying along this lesson. What is algorithmic trading? Algorithmic trading refers to the use of computer programs and algorithms to automate the process of buying and selling instruments, financial instruments to be specific, such as currencies, stocks, or commodities. These algorithms can analyze market data, identifying trading opportunities, and execute trades without human intervention. One very big advantage of algorithmic trading is that you set something to happen when certain conditions are met, and that thing will happen no matter what, compared to a human can have their emotions involved where they can alter the result of what's supposed to happen on given conditions. I'm going to give you guys a very simple example of how this works. So let's say there's a condition of blue and red. Now, said logic or condition will be that whenever we have a blue and whenever we have a red, our robot is automatically determined to calculate that that equals a purple, right? Okay, so now an algorithm would be able to do this automatically without no human emotion or intervention needed at all. Now, I'll give you an example of if a human were to do this. So if we had a human given the same logic of whenever there is blue and whenever there is red, it's also supposed to equal purple. But what a human can do is they say, okay, red and blue, what if that doesn't equal purple? What if maybe I get a darker blue? And what happens then is that emotion, that doubt, that altered our end result, because in the first example where we had our algorithm calculated to a specific logic where no matter what, it's going to give you the same exact condition and result. On our human example, since we doubted that blue and red equals purple, we instead made the assumption that red and blue might equal dark blue. And in trading, this is very important because in trading, you want to be able to replicate your results to become a consistent trader. So number 2, advantages and challenges. Algorithmic trading offers advantages like speed, precision, and the ability to execute complex trading strategies. Another example of this is basically like a calculator. Think of it like that, where if I were to give a calculator a problem such as, let's do 13, 4, 5 times 6, 7, 6, 7, 5, 2. A calculator could immediately do this. We would have to take some time to be able to calculate this manually. Now, that's a real good example of you being able to understand the speed of these algorithms and bots. Instead of you having to calculate this manually, that could be the difference between a winning and losing trade, or also a good or a bad entry. Now, with a robot being able to calculate this so fast, they're able to make immediate decisions, whereas we would take much longer to make those decisions if we were manually trading. However, algorithmic trading also comes with challenges such as the need for robust risk management, which this is universal. If you're manually trading or if you're automated trading, you're going to need to really understand your risk management. That's key and that's important because in automated trading, we want to understand that algorithmic trading is basically a concept based off of numbers. That's really what you, the user, can control is the numbers, and that's it. Why? Because unless you're a developer, unless you're a coder, then the only things you can control are the adjustments that can be made in the settings, as well as the lot size that your robot is trading on. So next we have the potential of system failures. Now this will rarely happen if you have a good development team, if you've purchased a bot from a team of people that know what they're doing. But you do run that risk of maybe, let's just say one day you're trading for, let's say 3 months. Let's say you're trading for 3 months, everything's going good, and on that 4th month, something happens in the code or something happens to your robot where it starts failing on certain conditions. Maybe the example we used earlier of blue and red, maybe your robot starts to calculate blue and red equals 2 purples instead of 1 purple, how we calculated earlier. Now this is just an example of system failures that could happen, but if you have a good development team, if you purchase your robot from somebody that knows what they're doing, maybe they're giving you updates on your robot, whatever the case may be, this is something that you really don't need to worry about. Another challenge is the ongoing task of optimizing and updating the algorithms. Again, like I mentioned prior, you want to be able to receive updates to your system and you want to be able to optimize your system, which is something we're going to talk about later in this video. Number 3, there are many different types of trading bots. Just like in the manual trading world, there are many different strategies you can use. Some people like smart money concepts, some people like ICT, some people combine both, some people are just regular retail traders. They're using breakouts, trend lines, maybe Fibonacci's. There's so many ways that you can trade. There's no right or wrong way to trade. They're just different lenses that you're able to see the picture from. So there are several types of trading bots, each with its own strengths and use cases, and this also comes along with its own weaknesses, and that's something we're also going to speak about. These include market making bots, trend following bots, arbitrage bots, scalping bots, and others. The choice of bot depends on the trader's strategy, risk tolerance, and market conditions. That's something we're also going to be diving deeper into. So chapter 3 is understanding what MQL is. So first up, we have MT4 and MT5. Now these are short abbreviations for MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5. These are going to be the platforms that you're going to be using primarily to trade on. So MQL, or MetaQuotes language, is the programming language used in popular MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5 trading platforms. These platforms are widely used by Forex traders and brokers around the world. Now, if you're just looking to be an automated trader, you don't really have to worry too much about how to program or anything of that nature. I know that's pretty scary for most beginner automated traders, but you don't have to know how to code. You don't have to know how to do any of that. What you'll receive on your end is going to be something called an EX4 or an EX5 file. That's inside of our next lesson here. But I just want you guys to understand that MQL is the programming language. For example, in other aspects of computer engineering, you have languages like Python, JavaScript, C++. Now those different languages are used for different purposes, such as creating websites, creating apps, creating visuals, and that kind of stuff. MQL is just strictly a trading language for the platform MetaTrader, whether it be 4 or 5. So number 2, we have EX4 and EX5. This is the compiled code in MQL. It's saved with .ex4 and .ex5 file extensions for MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5 respectively. So let's just say you were to purchase a robot from any company. What they're going to send you, it's going to be an EX4 file. This EX4 file is a compiled version of the code. With having an EX4 and an EX5 file, it'll be impossible for you to open up the code and modify anything in the actual robot, so you won't be able to mess up anything on your robot. Again, for beginner trading, this is a bit scary, but just understand you won't be able to mess anything up. All it is a file. This file will go inside of your MetaTrader, which I'll explain later in the video as well. Number 3 is going to be compatibility. MQL code is specific to the MetaTrader platform, so it's not compatible with other trading platforms. Traders must use MT4, MT5 in order to utilize their MQL-based programs and expert advisors. Another word for bots, Forex algorithms, is expert advisors. That's what we call them inside of the MQL language. Now understand, if you've purchased a robot that is specific for MQL, MetaTrader, then you're not going to be able to plug that up to something like TradingView or DXTrade or any of these other platforms, but it's not impossible. There's a way to do it. We're going to talk about it later into these lessons here. So if your goal is to trade on a prop firm that maybe utilizes DXTrade or anything of that sort, then there's still a solution for you. Number 4, choosing your platform. When selecting a Forex broker, it's important to choose one that supports the MetaTrader platform you prefer, whether that's MT4, MT5. This will ensure you can fully leverage the power of MQL for your automated trading strategies. So this is a very important part of automated trading, is being able to choose your platform and doing it correctly. You preferably want to choose a platform that operates on MT4, MT5. I know I mentioned that there's ways to go around this, but this is the simplest way and the most effective way and the cleanest way to do it. So find yourself a broker that supports these two platforms, because then you'll be able to go ahead and connect your robot seamlessly and it'll operate exactly how you want it to operate. Number 5, using external brokers. Some traders may want to use a broker that doesn't natively support the MetaTrader platforms. In these cases, there are workarounds that allow you to still utilize MQL-based expert advisors through the use of third-party tools and services. So just like I explained prior, there are different platforms that you're able to use to connect your MetaTrader account to an external platform. That way it's able to copy over all of your trades and you're still able to use your MQL robot, but just on these different platforms. So this platform I'm showing you guys here is called Copygram. Every platform that I show on these videos, I will make sure to link in the description, so that way you guys are able to just click and go straight to them. But Copygram essentially works where you'll take one platform, which is MetaTrader 4, that'll be your host platform, MetaTrader 4 or MetaTrader 5. What you'll do is you'll connect your trading account to this platform, and on that trading account you'll connect your robot. Now your robot is operating on this account here, right? But what's going to happen is you'll set these up in a room, and then there's going to be your sender, and then there's going to be your receiver. So your sender, any trades that your MetaTrader 4 is taking from your robot, they're going to copy over to a receiver, which can be an external platform. I know they have a whole bunch that you can choose from. There'll be an external platform and it'll copy over all of the trades without you needing to have a functionality on these external platforms for different robots and coding measures. This is something I just wanted to briefly mention. It's not something that you need to be afraid of. If you have any questions on this or you need help with this, make sure you send me a message or comment it down below and I'll be glad to help you. Chapter 3 is prop firm trading. What prop firms are, they are firms that are looking for traders that know how to trade. They can prove themselves through a challenge. Now this challenge does cost money. You pay for a challenge. I'll give you guys an example. Let's say you want $100,000 in capital. So you'll pay for $100,000 challenge, which industry average is about $600, $699, $599 more or less. So let's just say $600. So once you've paid for this challenge, you're going to have different criterias that you need to meet. For example, there may be certain trading days that you have to accomplish a certain target by, or there may be certain losses that you can take, and a certain amount of losses will take you out of the challenge, resulting in a failed challenge. Now, if you were to fail your challenge, industry standard is 10%. If you go 10% below your account, you fail your challenge. So if you were to have this 100K and you lost 10K on it, so now you're at 90K. So now you're at 90K, that'll result in your 10K net loss, and that will result in your challenge being failed, which means your $600 would go down the drain. Now, this is very, very important because you have to go through a phase of testing, a phase of building confidence with your robot. Think of your robot as your partner. It's right alongside you trading. Don't look at it as something that you're just going to leave on and it's just going to run forever and you never have to check on it and it's just going to print money forever. That's very, very unlikely, and that's something I'll talk about in a later lesson. So when you first obtain your robot, your mindset should not be, okay, I'm going to purchase this robot, I'm going to purchase this funded challenge, and then I'm just going to hook it up, I'm going to let it run, and then I'll be funded, I'll make millions of dollars, and I'll be rich forever. That's sadly not how this industry works. If this was your initial idea and I just crushed your dreams and hopes, I'm sorry, I'm just being real with you. I don't want you to go and spend $600 when you just purchased your robot and just lose the $600 just because, number one, as a human, you just made a purchase, right? Let's just say you purchased your robot for $1,500. You just spent $1,500 on a tool. Now you're excited to get a result from that. So what you typically want to do is you typically want to go and buy that prop firm, spend that money, and then test it out. Why? Because let's just say in your mind, you're hoping, and this is another thing in automated trading, hopeful thinking is not good. You want to act off of logic. Why? Because the whole point of you trading with robots is to remove that emotion. So again, you're hoping that you'll connect the account and it'll go ahead and pass the challenge, and then you're able to produce income every single month. You want to at first save some time for testing. Build that confidence with your robot. By the time that you're ready to take this challenge, you need to know, okay, I 100% trust my robot. I know what happens in all these different situations. I know what a worst case scenario is. I know what a best case scenario is. I know what I'm looking for every single day. And then, and only then, when you get to that point of that much confidence, then you go and you spend that $600, get that 100K account. But now you're fully prepared. Now you fully know and you understand. I don't care what anybody tells you. There is no situation where you just purchased a robot and it's ready to go ahead and connect to an account, and it's going to go ahead and pass your challenge immediately, and then it's going to go ahead and print money for you always without any preparation, without you learning your robot, without you understanding it. That's just simply not possible. If anybody is telling you this, they're just trying to make a quick sell on you, and they're not letting you know that there's actually a journey. This is something that you have to learn, you have to get comfortable with, you have to know exactly what's going to happen in all these different scenarios. It's almost like manual trading. Obviously, it's a different learning curve. It's a smaller learning curve. In manual trading, I'll give you guys an example. You'll start off with the basics, and then from the basics, you'll start having a little success, and then you'll find that, the basics aren't going to just cut it, right? So you'll get stuck, right? And then after you learn the basics, you really want to learn fundamentals. And after fundamentals, you'll start rising up a little bit. So it's just a consistent line of you just going up and down like this. Now in Forex trading with robots, it's a bit different. So in automated trading, your line is going to look something like this. You purchase your robot, you're testing, you're demo testing, you're building up your confidence. Now, once you've built up that confidence, what happens is after that point, then you're going to take these challenges and then you're going to pass it. So then you're going to start looping up, right? So it's a bit of a different learning curve. It's not the same thing as manual trading, but there is a learning curve. During this flat part, you have to be learning about your robot. You have to really understand it and build all that confidence that you do need. Now, there's a certain thing called leverage that plays a big role into your prop firm trading, and these are little secrets and techniques that prop firms hide from you with the goal of making you fail these challenges. Why? So they can go ahead and pocket your $600 you invested. Now, that $600 price point, that's just an example. You can get smaller accounts, 50Ks, 10K accounts that are much cheaper. And you can also get bigger accounts, 200Ks, 500Ks. I had an account with $1 million that you're able to see on my YouTube. You can go and check how I broke the record with one of my robots. That is already posted on my YouTube channel. You're able to go and watch that. But anyways, you want to understand your leverage for your specific robot, the specific strategy. I'll give you guys an example. I have a robot that trades news events only. There has to be a news event at a specific time for this robot to trade. Now, that's one of the conditions that I've set, just like I explained in one of our earlier lessons, is I'm setting the condition of blue and red equals purple. So that's automatically going to do it. Same thing with this robot. It's only trading during these news events. Now, why do I tell you this? It's very, very important because there's certain prop firms that will use a leverage of, let's just say, 1 to 10 for certain pairs. It's not for all the pairs, but this specific robot works on indices or indexes, whatever you want to call them, right? And there's specific prop firms out there that will give you that 1 to 10 leverage for these specific pairs. Now, this is a lot different because some of these firms will give you 1 to 100, 1 to 200, 1 to 500 leverage that you can use. Now, for this specific robot, the strategy goes a bit like this. So you'll have a chart that looks like what I just drew on the screen. And what's going to happen is that's identifying liquidity. So the robot will go ahead and identify this liquidity area here with a box. Then the next thing that happens is once that red folder comes, we know that that red folder is going to explode in either direction. Now at this point, if you don't understand what red folders are, or you don't understand news events in general from Forex trading, don't panic. I'm going to talk about it in a later lesson. But either way, what's going on here is that with that news event, we're waiting for a breakout of this liquidity area that a robot drew up. And what's going to happen is, if let's just say the market buys up, right? What the robot's going to do, once it exits that liquidity, it's going to go ahead and put an order in for a buy. Again, it's automatically doing this. This is why robots are so dope, because it's automatically going to produce that logic that you set it to produce. So now when the robot buys up in the direction of the liquidity area, what happens is we're into that buy, and as the market comes up, we're in profit. What my robot will do is it'll go ahead and set my stop loss to break even. So now I run a risk-free trade. There's no risk of me losing. And this almost for me guarantees that I'm going to profit every single session that I do take, or I'm going to break even. It minimizes my losses so much because I understand that when a red folder occurs, there's a big move that's going to happen. So typically what's going to happen is once we cross that area of when we're entering, the market's just going to keep shooting in one direction. Right? So that gives us enough time to go ahead and put in stop loss at break even, go ahead and get into the trade, and also our robot's doing all of this automatically. Now, the leverage part comes here. Typically, when those moves happen, I like to gain 10% on that day. So this robot's making about 10% a day whenever it is ran. Now, for me to make that 10% a day, I have to use a bit of a bigger lot size. So I'll give you guys an example. Let's say I want to use a 3.0 lot size for this day. I'm only aiming to catch about 30 points. So what I have to do is I have to take my account and I have to say, okay, what's 10% of this account? So let's just say it was $1,000, right? Let's say I'm on a 10K account. I want to make $1,000. 10% of that, 10,000 is 1,000. So now I'll have to use a bigger lot size than I typically would to be able to make that 10% in those 30 pips. So now what happens is, since I have to use a bigger lot, it takes up all my leverage, and what happens there is I'm not even able to place a trade. Why? Because the leverage is so high. Or sometimes what prop firms would do is they'll let you enter the trade, but since their leverage is so low and my lot size is so high, they'll enter it and they'll exit you right away for a commission loss. So be very, very aware of the leverages and also the trading strategies you are using. Make sure they're compatible with whatever platform you're choosing, and just make sure you're very, very aware of the situation here. Now for this next chapter, we have news events and your Forex trading bot. So understanding news impact. News events can have a significant impact on currency exchange rates, which is crucial for your trading bot. Forex trading bot. Staying up to date on economic reports, political decisions, and global events can help your bot anticipate and respond to market movements effectively. So there is a platform that we like to use as automated traders to be able to check news events. I'll show you guys how to navigate that platform and what platform it is. So the platform I'm speaking about is forexfactory.com. Now this platform is very, very cool because you're able to set up exactly what you want. I'll give you guys an example. Let's say I'm trading a US based pair like US 30. What I'm going to do to set up the important information and to filter everything out, I'm going to go to this cone on this corner here. It's right below my camera. And now here you're able to filter out everything for your robot. So if I'm trading a US only robot, I'm going to check off USD. I'm only really worried about red folders for my specific robots that I do use. So I'm going to have that checked off and have all of these unchecked. That way I'm only getting the data that I need. I'm only understanding that USD is having red folders at these specific times, and that's really all I care about. Event types, you'll want to go through and kind of see how your robot performs on these different event types. And from there you can do an optimization of maybe housing events don't really affect your robot, speeches maybe don't affect your robot, and that's going to filter those out. For me, I go ahead and let these all check off. Now here you're able to choose a default view if you want it for the week, yesterday, today and tomorrow, or today. I prefer for the week because you're able to go ahead and apply that, and then right here you're able to use this calendar. Let's say I want to see news for the whole month of August. We'll go from the 1st to the 31st. We'll apply settings, and now what it's going to do is it's going to go ahead and give me all the news events for August. The next thing is going to be integrating news feeds. So many Forex trading platforms and bots offer the ability to integrate news feeds and economic calendars. By incorporating this data, your bot can analyze the potential impact of upcoming events and adjust its trading strategies accordingly, giving it a competitive edge in the market. So me personally, for the robot that I use, we have a feature where we are connected directly to Forex Factory. So now let's just say there's a red folder at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. I can set my robot to a logic of not trading around that red folder. So let's just say I want my robot to turn off 2 hours prior to that red folder, and I want it to turn back on 2 hours after the red folder. Which will happen there is I'll avoid all of the volatility from that red folder so it doesn't mess up any of my trading statistics. I don't take any unnecessary huge losses. I don't blow accounts. I don't fail prop firm challenges because of that sole reason there. So that's something that maybe you want to look for whenever you're looking for a robot, or whenever somebody's selling you a robot, is if news events are going to affect this robot, you want to be able to have a filter up there where you can choose different settings. And I'll show you guys exactly how my robot has the settings in it and exactly what those settings do. Now, the next thing we'll be talking about are VPS. So first up, what is a VPS? So a VPS is a virtual private server where it's basically an external computer. I'll give you an example. Let's just say you're on your computer watching this video right now. But let's just say you have an operation or something that you need always running, but you don't want to have your computer always running. So in automated trading, this applies to your robot. In order for your robot to run, your MetaTrader always has to be open with your robot on it. If your computer turns off, your robot will stop. That is very bad because, number one, let's just say your robot is managing your trades, it's managing your risk. If your computer turns off, and let's just say a worst case scenario happens where the market goes opposite of whatever trades you're in, your robot is not going to exit those trades and you'll probably get margined out. Now, if you get margined out, you could either lose the entire account, you could lose your prop firm challenge. So a lot of traders like myself, we use a VPS to ensure that, number one, our robot is always on. Number two, there's no chance for my robot to shut off. I know and I can trust that on a VPS, my robot is going to always be managing my trades. It's going to manage my risk management. I'll never blow my account because my robot is always going to be on. Now, do you need a VPS? You don't necessarily need a VPS. It's something that you can bypass by just leaving your computer on at all times. Now, if you know that maybe your computer turns off after a certain amount of time, which this is something that you can fix in your computer settings so it never turns off. But for the health of your computer, for your electricity, you don't want your computer to run hot from always being on, and maybe sometimes you're not even able to use it for different things. Let's just say I have my MetaTrader up and I have my bot running on my home computer, and let's just say maybe I want to edit a video on my second screen, and maybe on my third screen I'm doing another complex task. And let's just say if that causes my computer to slow down, that could mess up my MetaTrader robot from executing trades at the best speeds that it can and exiting trades at the best speeds that it can. Now, what kind of VPS do you need? I personally recommend forexvps.net. Ever since I started automated trading, I've always used this specific VPS, and for almost 3 years, it's never shut down on me. It's never left me behind. It's always been up and it's always been running. Now let's go into Forex VPS plans so I can kind of tell you what plan that you do need. So these plans do start at $32 if you get the monthly. If you get the yearly, you're able to save some money there, or the 6 months, you'll save some money there as well. Now, if you're just running a regular robot with a logic of technicals or indicators, then you'll just need a basic or a basic plus. You won't really need any of the expensive VPSs unless you're running a high frequency arbitrage robot or something that relies on millisecond delays. But for the most part, if you're watching this video and you aren't already aware of that, then you probably don't even need it. So you can go with basic, basic plus, or the standard. I personally run the standard and it does very well for me, but basic and basic plus also work well. Now, if you need help on installing this stuff, this forexvps.net, they offer help on installation. I believe they give you a video as well. It's very, very simple to do. If you can't find a video, if you can't find help, message me and I'll send you a video on exactly how to install your VPS. Our next lesson is key components of MQL. So in this lesson, I'm going to be going over how to install your robot, how to set it up, and how to turn it off. So first up, we have proper installation. Installing your Forex trading robot or expert advisor is a crucial first step. This process involves downloading the necessary files, configuring your trading platform, and ensuring the bot is properly integrated with your brokerage account. Careful attention to detail during installation will help to avoid common issues down the line. So a lot of people, when they have their first bot or they are fairly new into the Forex automation space, they make a lot of mistakes on installation that later won't allow their robot to maybe trade or do specific things. So I'm going to show you guys the correct way to do it. So let's say you just purchased a robot from somebody, maybe they emailed it to you, maybe it's in a Discord, whatever the case may be. You want to locate the ex4 file. I know we talked about this earlier, and what you want to do is you want to download that. Now for me, it went ahead and downloaded into my downloads inside of my Chrome tab. So I'm able to locate it right here, Nova Pro EX4. After you've located it, what you want to do is you want to drag it onto your home screen. And this is going to be very important here soon. So now that you've downloaded it, you want to open up your MetaTrader platform. If it's an EX4 file, it will go on MetaTrader 4. If it's EX5, it will go on MetaTrader 5. Now, once you've opened up your platform, you're going to come to the top left and click File, then Open Data Folder. Now here, after you've opened data folder, you want to come to MQL4, go to experts, and then here you're going to be able to see all the sample expert advisors that already come on your MetaTrader platform. These aren't the ones that you'll be needing. So what you're going to do is, remember when I told you guys to bring it to your home screen, the EX4 file, you're going to take that EX4 file, you're going to copy and paste it, or you're going to drag it over into this folder. So now I see mine says Nova Pro EX4. So now I know it's properly in there. After this step, we can close out this folder. And now we're going to come over here to the left side where it says Expert Advisors. We're going to right click and we're going to hit refresh. After hitting refresh, we're able to see that Nova Pro appears there. So now the next step for this is to connect it to a chart. Now let's just say you didn't need USD CHF. Let's just say for this example, we needed NASDAQ 100. For me, it's right here. If it's not right here, what you do is you come over to view, to symbols, and then you look for your pair. So for me, NASDAQ would be a CFD. So we'll go to CFD and we see it's right here, NAS USD. You want to make sure this is yellow. The way you make it yellow is you double click and it'll make it yellow. Once it's yellow, that means it's going to be on your market watch on the left side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this and I'm going to drag it over to my current screen. As you guys see on the top left, it changed over to NAS USD. Now this is H1. These are different time frames that you're able to choose. Whatever your robot is designed to run on, that's what you need to be on. For me, this robot runs on the M5 time frame, so I'm just going to go to M5. So now we've learned how to properly install a robot. The next step is the startup procedure. Once installed, you'll need to properly start up your Forex trading bot. This includes verifying the bot is enabled and actively monitoring the markets. Familiarize yourself with the startup sequence to ensure your bot is running smoothly and ready to execute trades as needed. So we're going to go ahead and start up our bot. So the way we're going to start up our bot is we're going to take it from the left side and we're going to drag it over to this chart that we already loaded. And now it's going to give us our different inputs right here. Now all of these inputs, these are all different settings. Whoever you purchase your robot from, they should give you a list of some of the best settings to run on, what pairs to run them on, and what time frames to run them on. For this example, I'm just going to show you guys how to start a bot. We'll talk about the settings here shortly. So you'll want to come over here to common on the top left. You'll want to have long and short positions on if you want your robot to trade longs and shorts or buys and sells. This doesn't mean that it's going to trade buys and sells at the same time if your robot is not programmed to do that. What it means is that it has the option to trade buys or sells. If you go only short, this means only sells, only long, only buys. So long and short. Next up, you can enable alerts if you want them to be enabled. This is typically good to have on so you're able to be alerted if there are any issues. You want to allow live trading. You want to allow DLL imports if, let's just say you have a DLL that connects you directly to news, then you want to allow this. But I typically just tell everyone to allow it because some people know and some people don't know if they actually need that. So just allow that. It won't do any harm to you. Allow the import of external experts, and then allow modification of signal settings. This is very important because this is what manages your robot. So let's just say you're in a trade and your stop loss needs to be moved and your robot knows it's supposed to move it. But if this is unchecked, the MetaTrader system will actually not let your robot do anything to your positions once they're open. After you have all these checked, you're going to go ahead and hit OK. Now your next step is going to be having this auto trading on. If it's not on, it'll appear red and you'll have a smiley face that's upside down, so a frown face on the top right corner. So there's a couple ways to fix a frown face. Number one is just turning this on. But if that doesn't fix it, what you're going to do is you're going to go to Tools, you're going to go to Options, you're going to go to Expert Advisors. Now you got to click Allow Automated Trading. And now these are settings that you can change. Disable automated trading when the account has changed. You can change all of these. You don't have to have them checked off. I personally don't check them off. I check off allow DOL and then allow web listed if I had a DOL. You can just check it off regardless. Again, it won't do you any harm. And go ahead and click OK. Now, once you've hit OK, maybe your auto trading turns green automatically. If it doesn't, then you'll go ahead and click that. And now our robot is fully on. As you can see, my background changed. It's showing me up here a balance. It's showing me profit. And now our robot is fully on. Now the shutdown process. When you're done trading for the day or need to make adjustments, you'll want to properly shut down your Forex robot. This involves disabling the bot, double checking that all positions are closed, and saving any relevant data or logs. A thoughtful shutdown process helps maintain the long-term health and performance of your trading system. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that now. So there's a couple things that you're going to want to do whenever you shut the robot off. So if you just want to shut the bot off for the day and you don't want to remove the robot from your actual chart, you can just come up here and turn off auto trading and now it's removed. Now keep in mind, if you have open positions, then you need to go into your MetaTrader and close those positions. Another way you can turn the bot off, let's just say our auto trading is back on. What you can do is you can right click on the screen, go to Expert Advisors and just remove it. And what that's going to do is just going to remove it from the full chart. I know you guys are still able to see the background from the bot, but I know the bot's not on for two reasons. Number one, on the top left corner, it's not giving me any data. And number two, on the top right corner, it doesn't have the name of the bot and a smiley face or a frowning face. So now I know that my robot is off. For double precaution, just uncheck that button there. Next up, we have your settings and how to change your settings and also how to read your settings. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to right click on your robot. You got to install your robot first. So we're going to go ahead and reinstall our robot. We're going to go ahead and check allow live trading, allow modifications, inputs. Now from here, you're able to see a list of settings. Now settings on every robot won't be the same, but I'm just going to show you guys an example on how to read your settings and then how to change them. For example, on this robot, time usage method, I can go to my value. I can click on it. It's going to give me a drop down if I want to do computer time or broker time. So you can just click whatever option you want there. Now, again, you may not have this setting on your robot, but I'm just explaining to you guys that there's drag down menus on some of these settings. So always be sure to click your settings to check if it's a type setting or if it's a drawdown setting. Now, the way that you're going to change your settings, it's very, very simple. You want to kind of read this with a little bit of common sense. I'll give you guys an example. So for lots, you'll be able to see lot size is 0.3. So here you'll be able to change your lot size to whatever lot size you need. If I need a 0.01, I'll just type in 0.01. It's really that simple. As I showed you guys earlier, this specific robot has news parameters. So let's just say I'm going to give you guys an example. I want my robot to not trade news that are red folders, and I want it to stop trading 2 hours prior and 2 hours after for the pair USD. So what I'll do is I'll set my symbol list to true. I would take these out and just type USD since that's the only pair that I want to be monitored. And then the stop trade before news in minutes, I would set this to 120 minutes because I want to be out of trades 2 hours before the news event. So I'll go there. Same thing with after. I want to start my trading back up 2 hours after the news event. Now, high impact news is equivalent to red folder news. So I don't want to trade red folder news. So I'll click that to true. Now orange folder and yellow folder, I do want to trade, so I'll set those to false. When it's time for the news event, so for example, for 2 hours prior to the news event, I can set it to do one or two things. If I set this to true, what's going to happen is the robot is going to close all my positions immediately. If I set this to false, it'll just stop taking new orders and then I manually have to go in and close those positions. So for chapter 9, we have backtesting. So what is backtesting? Backtesting is the process of testing a trading strategy or algorithm on historical market data to see how it would have performed. This allows traders to evaluate the effectiveness and profitability of their strategies before risking real capital. Now, this is very, very important because you're able to go in and see how it would have performed, how it would have done under certain conditions on certain days. And from this result, you're able to make adjustments to prepare your robot for the real live market. Now, I will tell you this. If you only backtest, you also need to demo test before going into live conditions such as a live trading account or a prop firm challenge. Adjusting the backtest. Traders can tweak various parameters of the backtest such as entry and exit conditions, position sizing, and risk management rules. Adjusting these factors can help optimize the strategy and identify the most profitable approach. So again, like I mentioned prior, you want to see what happens in your backtest, and then you want to make adjustments that'll make your robot perform better. Setting up the backtest. Backtesting requires access to historical market data, as well as the ability to simulate trading conditions based on that data. Many trading platforms and algorithms provide built-in backtesting capabilities to make this process easier. So I'll be showing you guys exactly how to backtest. So number one, you want to have your backtester pulled up. This menu that you guys see right here, this is your backtest menu. So what you want to do if you don't have that pulled up, you want to go to view on the top. And then after you're on view, you want to come down to strategy tester. You want to click that, and that's going to open up your strategy tester down here. Now you can come here and you can choose which robot you want to test. For this purpose, we're just going to do the Nova Pro. We're going to click on that. Next, the symbol. Any symbol that you've added to your market watch is going to appear in here. If it hasn't appeared and you already added it, what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to either close out your whole MetaTrader. So after you've closed out your MetaTrader and your symbol appears here, the next thing you want to do is just click on it. Just find your symbol. For me, it's NAS USD. Now for your model, this is a little different. For this example, we're going to use every tick. Some people like open price only. This is all up to your preference. You're more than welcome to test out any of these settings. For me, every tick does very well. Now for your period, this is going to be your time frame. Again, my robot's supposed to be ran on the M5 time frame, so we're going to click that. Your spread current is fine. Now if you're back testing, let's just say out of session, then you might want to manually input a spread there. The next thing is going to be your expert properties. You're going to click here. This is going to bring up the settings of your robot. Now here you can make any adjustments that you may need to make. You can load up set files if you want to, whatever you need to do. You can go here to testing to set up your initial deposit. Let's just say you want to test on 100K. You want to do it for long and short. You can do short only or buy only, whatever the case may be. Then right here, you don't really need to mess with this because we're not doing optimizations at the moment. Same thing here with optimization. You don't really need to mess with this at all either. So now that you had your settings that you want to use, you'll go ahead and click OK. Now you can go here on the symbol property to get more information on your symbol. You can get contract size here. You can get your what kind of leverage you're using, your margin percentage. All this information is also important to keep in mind. Now, once you've identified all of that, the next thing to do is you want to click on use date. Now, let's just say sometimes people don't have these options of use date in visual mode, because what happens is your MetaTrader will open it like this, where now you can't see use visual mode. So you want to go here and drag it up so you're able to see the full settings. Now from use date, you want to have that checked off. You want to put whatever dates that you want to trade from. Now for visual mode, this is very important to see what's going on with your robot, to understand it. You can also use it without it, and what it'll do is it'll just give you the data of what actually happened without showing it on the screen. Now for visual mode, you have this slider here. This is a speed slider. You'll be able to speed up your backtest or slow it down as well. Now you're also able to skip to certain dates in your backtest. I typically don't do that because I want to see what's going on. But the next step now is just to really start up your backtest. So we'll click start on the bottom right. Now it'll take you to a screen like this. You'll see it says visual right here. You'll see that there's a grid. You can remove this grid by right clicking and then clicking on grid right here, and it'll remove your grid. Next, you'll see that most of the times it's going to backtest in these bars. What you want to do is you want to come up here to candlesticks, and now you're able to trade on the candlesticks that you're familiar with. A lot of times you'll get your screen where it's opaque like this. What you want to do here to fix this issue is you want to just double click on your chart. Okay, so after it started working, you will know it started working because you're going to get a green bar down here that's slowly loading. Now our speed monitor right here, as you guys can see, it's not all the way turned up, so my chart is going to be acting very slow. If you want to speed it up, you'll just drag this all the way across, and as you can see, it does it insanely fast. Now one thing I do want to notice up here is that For my specific bot, whenever you turn it on the backtester, it's going to give you data. It's going to tell your initial balance, which is 100,000. It's going to give you your equity, which is now $110,400. It's going to give you your objective, which is 10.3, which is 10%. And then today's profit, which is 10.40. So as you were able to see on the backtester, my robot went ahead and already took a trade for me. It already hit my objective. So now it's not going to take any more trades. Even if I were to run it, let me go ahead and play it. If I were to run it, it's not going to take any more trades. Why? Because my objective has already been hit. So now what to do at this point? You can pause that and you can stop your backtester. Once you've stopped your backtester, what you can do is, you see on the bottom left, it says results, graph, report, and journal. What you want to do there is you want to go over to results. In results, you're going to be able to see your trades and exactly how they happened and at what time they happened and what kind of trades they were as well. So here we're able to see that my lot size was a 50. It tells you the price, it tells you my stop loss, my take profit, it tells you my profit, and then my balance. So with this robot, it's meant to only take one trade and really get to that 10% goal with that one trade. As you guys were able to see here, it took the trade once it exited the box, and it exited the take profit once it had enough pips. The next thing you can look at is your graph. The graph is going to show you a graph of your trades, of how profitable they were, with your balance being on the right side. On the bottom, you're able to see how many trades were taken. For me, it was only one, and at that one, we reached that 10% mark. Now we're able to come over here to report, and in the report, we're able to see a couple of different things. You're able to see your total net profit. You're able to see any drawdown that happened. You're able to see really anything that you need to see to be able to make optimizations. Now keep in mind, this test for me was just done on default settings. This wasn't on any actual settings that I use on this robot. This was just example purposes, but you're able to see all of this data here. Now in your journal, you're able to see very important things. Let's just say you had an error or anything, it'll pop up here in your journal. This is very important because let's just say you're working with a team. For example, my clients, if they have an issue, they'll send me a picture of their journal. They'll tell me exactly where the issue happened at, and I'll be able to know exactly what happened there. Now I want to go back and I want to show you guys how to change any settings and how that'll work. So let's just say I want my TP for the month to be 8%. So I'll just type in 8 there. Let's just say we'll just go with that, 8%. So now you'll go there and you'll just start it back up just like you did, right? We'll right click, take the grid off, we'll put it in candlesticks, and now we'll speed it up. And as you can see, the same exact thing happened. We hit our 8%. So we're able to stop it. We'll go to results. You'll see here, we made that $8,000 trade there. We'll see the graph here, report here, and journal here. So our chapter 10 is going to be backtesting and tracking stats, and also quote unquote hands-free trading, right? So we already went over the backtest, understanding how to analyze our Forex trading bot's performance through comprehensive backtesting and detailed performance tracking, gain insights to optimize your trading strategy for maximum probability. So another way of tracking is something that we use called MyFXBook. Now this is able to be used by connecting your MetaTrader 4 account with your login. By connecting your MetaTrader 4 account with your login onto this platform called myfxbook.com. I'm going to show you guys that shortly in a second. And then what that does is it's able to give you your data from a demo or a real account. You're able to see what days your bot performs best, what days it doesn't. So I'm going to show you guys one now. So you'll go to myfxbook.com, you'll create your account, and you'll go ahead and connect your new account. So you're able to see here, it shows the gain, and this was for a demo account. It shows your drawdown, which we had 0% drawdown. That's very typical with this robot, is you barely get any drawdown because it's looking to enter a trade and make that 10% in one trade. And with that momentum, it'll go ahead and enter into profit and then go to break even. So you're going to be able to see different things here. You're going to be able to see how much you've gained today, this week, this month, this year. You're going to be able to see how many trades you took, your profitability, your pips, your average win, your average loss. You're going to be able to see all of this important information, your hourly. So you're going to be able to see what hours you run best at. For me, I only ran one trade, so it's not going to really show too much data there. It's going to show a summary here of I traded NAS USD. I traded one trade, profited 11K at a 100% win rate. So also with the daily, hourly, you're going to be able to see those different statistics, your risk of ruin. Here it's going to tell you how likely you are to blow an account based off of your data. It's going to tell you the duration of your trades. It's also going to give you your monthly analytics here as well. So this is very, very important whenever you just purchase a robot. You want to connect it to a MyFX book. You want to run it on a demo account. Why? Because this data here is what's going to help you improve your bot's performance. So tracking our stats and quote unquote hands-free trading. Number one, you want to schedule your robot. Determine the best time frame for your trading bot to operate. I'll give you guys an example with this. For me, on my grid robot, I only like to run through the London session and the New York session, avoiding red folders. So for me, a schedule would look something like this. I would turn on my robot 10 p.m. Eastern. I would let it run through the London session, since I know in the London session there's no red folders for USD. There's no folders at all. So that'll be a free London session where I can run without worrying about my robot running into news. And then let's just say we have a news event at 8 a.m. Then I'll be out of the market by 6 a.m. and then I'll turn my bot on 2 hours after. So at 10 a.m. I'll go ahead and run again. And that's basically my schedule. So for your specific robot, you want to decide on a schedule. The way you decide on a schedule is you go to your MyFX book, you see at what times your robot runs best, what times are more profitable, what days are more profitable. Whatever days aren't profitable, you just skip those, don't run on those days. Same things with the hours. So that's kind of how you're able to determine your schedule. Number two is choosing the right robot. Select a bot that fits your trading style and availability. Maybe you're somebody that doesn't have a lot of time, so you need a robot that's only running for maybe an hour a day. For example, the robot I showed you guys in the backtester only runs for about 1 to 2 hours a day. So if you don't have a lot of time and you want to see your profits today, then a robot like that would fit for you. Now, if you're somebody that has time, you do trading full time, and you have the time to monitor it, then something like a grid edition would work well for you. Why? Because that kind of robot, even though it's really automated, it does take times. For me, it typically takes about 6 hours a day to run that robot, and that 6 hours a day, you're just watching the robot. You're not really doing anything else. You're just kind of monitoring it. So if your schedule was like that, then a robot like that would be perfect. Now, let's just say you're somebody that is okay with letting a bot run for days, then something like a swing robot would work very well for you. So just determining the right robot that fits your trading style and availability is going to be very, very key, because you don't want to be stuck with a robot that you have to be up late nights, and let's just say you have work in the morning. That's really not going to work for you. So make sure that you choose the right kind of robot. Avoid laziness. Automated trading is not a shortcut. It requires careful setup and monitoring. So if you got into the automated trading space to maybe just turn something on, leave it on, make a lot of money, and then just go on about your business, it's really not how it works. You have to monitor it. You have to make adjustments. You have to make sure everything's running according to plan. So just don't be lazy with it. Let's just say you have a scheduler where you can turn on and off your robot automatically at certain times. Even then, monitor it during those times. Turn it off sometimes yourself, just so you can see what times are best. And yeah, be fully involved with your robot. It'll pay off in the long term. Successful hands-free trading requires a disciplined approach. Start by figuring out the optimal schedule for your trading robot, when it is more profitable for it to execute trades. Next, choose a robot that aligns with your personal trading style and availability. And finally, avoid the temptation to treat automated trading as a lazy solution. It still demands diligent setup, backtesting, monitoring to ensure your systems are working as intended. And that's really it for this full course. If you guys have any of these topics that you want me to go more in depth in, I can definitely make videos on those. Just let me know in the comments section. If you guys want to get in contact with me, my Telegram is at TradeWJEO, same as my Instagram. If you have a robot where you've been stuck on it and you need help picking your feet up with this robot, I also host private consultations where I help people with their current robot, and I show you exactly what you need to do. I'll help you optimize your robot and set you up for success with that bot taking the right approach. And last but not least, I also have my own collection of robots that I do sell. If you're interested in those, you can go to our website, passyourforex.com, or send me a message on Telegram or Instagram, and I'll give you more details on that.